When you go on to a news channel, do you want to see this?
Is part of a campaign and of a ticket that has made it its purpose to attack Hispanics, to attack Mexicans from day one. And so he had to walk on eggshells. What's outrageous about it?
Or would you rather see this?
One of the most significant changes in the tax overhaul is a doubling of the standard deduction. That is what most people can take without itemizing deductible expenses. The final bill increases that maximum standard amount next year to $12,000 for an individual, $24,000 for couples. Charities are already expressing worry that fewer people will itemize, and without the tax break, that will reduce incentives for giving.
There are differences between CNN and PBS that help explain why the tones of CNN Tonight and PBS NewsHour are different. But at the end of the day, both CNN Tonight and PBS NewsHour market themselves as news shows. CNN Tonight also marks itself as an opinion program in addition to being a news show, but PBS NewsHour is exclusively a news show. And understanding these differences helps people understand why one of them has such a different tone and such a different style. And that's not to say that CNN Tonight can't be educational, because it often is. It's not to say that CNN Tonight's debates are pointless, because they aren't. But at the end of the day, the debates that CNN Tonight airs are often not particularly important or newsworthy. And they definitely don't belong to be considered news themselves, although obviously lots of people don't consider them news. But it's problematic that CNN is in fact a news network, it's in fact a news channel, and it airs this sort of non-news based content, even though pragmatically it makes sense that it does, because this sort of content draws advertisers, because it draws views. It's still frustrating, and it should still be discussed, because at the end of the day, CNN Tonight's programming isn't news. At least not this kind of programming. This kind of programming is something else entirely. It's commentary, and that should not be marketed on a show that considers itself, at least in part, a news show. That matters. Political commentators aren't journalists, and political debates are not news analysis. That's something that more and more people need to realize, and it's something that the news media needs to internalize and focus on, instead of profiting off of the idea that they can air political debates when they should be airing objective analysis of the news. The reason why I chose to juxtapose the CNN Tonight clip with PBS NewsHour is that PBS NewsHour focuses exclusively on the news and on analyzing the news, as well as talking about how the news is going to affect you and businesses and organizations that affect you, as opposed to just allowing two people who are political pundits and political strategists to spar verbally live on air. Because that's not news. I don't need to know what Ana Navarro thinks of Trump or what Michael Caputo thinks of Trump. And I'm happy that I got to see those clips. I enjoyed watching them. I think Ana Navarro is a great debater. This is nothing against her or against Michael Caputo. The whole point of this is to point out that that's not news. And it shouldn't be aired on news channels or on programs that consider themselves even in part news. It's frustrating to see stuff like that, because that's the invasion of popular media juxtaposing itself over necessary media. So it's something that's entertaining and easy to watch, imposing itself on something that matters objectively more and should have more importance, because it's easier to consume, because it's more entertaining, because more people are going to watch it, which in turn gives networks more revenue. Networks like CNN should create news spaces for political debates exclusively. They should allow people like Michael Caputo and Ana Navarro to spar on the regular in those spaces and not in spaces that should be for news. So CNN should focus on the news and then create an experimental area for political debates exclusively. See if that works, and if that works, awesome. That's great. Political pundits, political activists, political strategists now have a place to go at each other. And people who want to see the news or want to see debates now have a choice. They can go and look at the news, or they can go and watch debates. They don't have to watch debates imposing themselves over the news. I'm frustrated when I see stuff like that, and I hope that I'm not the only one, because when I click on CNN, I want to see the news. Just like when I click on PBS NewsHour, I want to see the news as well.